It's another episode of that series. That series of the episodes? No, the episode of the series. The one with the 200 TDI. Bit of a death trap. It's going to get better. None of this, by the way, is the current owners doing this. He bought the car a number of years ago, and it's been going from one workshop to another to get various work done on it. And I'm the latest in this. I don't believe anyone prior to his purchase has been anywhere near the axles or the brakes on this thing, which is lucky, really, because they're all believe that everyone's worked on it as a professional mechanic, or does it for a living at least. There you go. Right, anyway, enjoy the episode. Right, front driver's side hub. Thought I would just check the swivel preload before it all started to go back together. You can see I've cleaned all the paint and shit off here. So really you need to remove the sweep seal from the back of the swivel housing, this thing back here. Predictably, the fucking thing is siliconed in. So I'm not going to be able to get it out without destroying it. If I take it out, then I'm going to end up having to undo all these bolts, take the whole swivel housing off and replace it. So I thought, well, okay, let's just check the swivel preload. And it should be 14 to 16 pounds without the sweep seal. So I'd expect this to be heavier because we've also got the drag of the sweep seal on the swivel ball. So I am pulling 8, 10 pounds, it's starting to move. Obviously we've got to overcome a friction. 12, it's moving at about 11 pounds. So to my mind, there's too many shims up here. This thing's too loose. Too loose? They play rugby, don't they? Do I do it properly, or do I just do at it? I gotta do it properly, folks. No gasket. There is paint. There's no gasket. There's a damaged seal. That wouldn't cause an oil leak. That's just really to stop the axle seal oil pouring into the hub. Yeah, that's all silicon. I gave it a quick clean off before I did that, but you can see that the whole gap there is just wedged with silicon. So I'm probably going to end up destroying the hub's sweep seal before it comes out. But then the swivel ball's seen better days, but again, it depends. It's serviceable. There's no MOT failure for a rusty ball. I don't believe, anyway. As long as the hub isn't leaking oil excessively. Yes. Right, the swivel seal's out and it's intact, and it's a single-lipped jobby. Tough as old boots. It's probably quite old. It's as old as this silicon is. As you can see, acres of the fucking stuff. But never mind, it's out. Now I can take a true measurement on the swivel preload, so I need to basically mount that, or hold that onto the bench, or bolt it back onto the hub, or whatever. Find some way of securing this end, and then test the swivel preload. And you basically adjust it by changing the number of shims you've got under here. And I couldn't tell you how many shims are underneath there. Looks like just, oh, it might be a couple, so it might be a fairly easy job to get it set up. It could just well be that the lack of shims is why it happened. Now, as far as rust on here is concerned, I've managed to clean 90% of it up. It's actually in reasonably good order. Most of this stuff is paint, believe it or not, overspray. Rust up here, I don't care about. Right on this side, on the far extremes, there's a fair amount of pitting, and you can actually feel that is actually knackered the chrome there. So it's blown the chrome, so to speak, on the ball. Now, I can try and flat that back and see if it responds to, let's say a little bit of brain's gone blank, steel wool. Realistically, that's just going to tear another seal. That bit there, you can see that, can't you? I hope you can. And when you run your fingernail over it, it's like, you know, it's like running your fingernail over a bit of braille. I love it. So it could be utterly futile, this whole process. I might just need a swivel ball and repair kit. I'll talk to the customer. I don't know. Questions on a postcard. It's not the worst I've seen, and it's not the best I've seen. For me, I would say it's serviceable if I can clean it up and get it flat. With a new sweep seal, it'll be alright. We'll see. Okay, so, been over here with some very, very light emery paper. And it's actually cleaned it up. It's fairly smooth now. Compared to this stuff over here, which you can feel it's quite harsh. That might survive. I don't know yet. Question to the customer. This bearing at the bottom though, yeah, that's a rusty cage. I mean, the rollers are stainless, I think. It's another MNR bearing. Pin is okay. Top pin is okay. It's got a nice snug fit into there, and it fits fine. It's got the little thrust washer that goes in the bottom of it. Really just a case, really, I think now it's all stripped down and cleaned, just finding out where the customer wants to go with it. Okay, got the other side apart. More or less exactly the same story. Yeah, okay. Couple of things that were missing. So the thrust washer's missing from inside of the top swivel pin housing. There should be a fibre disc that goes at the bottom of the hole in there. It doesn't exist. It's not there. There was no spacer on the outside of the outside wheel bearing. Where's the hub? There's the hub. So literally, if I just move the brake back plate out of the way, the hub nut went straight onto the top of the bearing. No spacer at all. That's pretty piss poor. That was on the back of the hub. I've not even looked at the back of this thing yet to find out. It looks like the seal's collapsed. You can see the amount of oil that's around that anyway. Same AMR bearings throughout. This is the worrying one though. So first and foremost, you can just see the sheer amount of oil and crap on the back of the back plate and also the front. And that's not because of the hub. I used the drain plug before I took it out. But look, now I've done nothing with that. What sort of fuckhead puts a brake pipe and bleeds the brakes with that like that? And also, that's a single flare. Right, well that's made my mind up. I've not even checked that on the other ones. That's a single flare. It should be a bubble flare and then crushed for a female. So I don't know who's made these brake lines up. I'll have to take the others off and have a look. It's going to be an interesting conversation with my customer here. That's just fucking dangerous. Let's have a look at this one here. So this is the driver's side. Let's get the ferrule back. Because it's not going to shift, is it? Yeah, that looks like a single flare as well. The edge is really, really, really thin. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, single flare. Not cricket, chaps. Not cricket. Mind you, nothing's fucking cricket these days, is it? Come on, chaps. We've got to behave ourselves, really, haven't we? Oh, for fuck's sake. Now, that's dry. Is this one dry inside? All of this crap here was there already. You can see brake fluid's been leaking down there because the paint is all pickled. Yeah, all of this is pickled paint. So I'm probably going to have to strip this back plate down and clean it. Which is kind of futile really doing these, isn't it, really? Yeah, that's dry on the inside too. Yeah, I'm going to strip this brake back plate down. The whole thing's going to need cleaning. There's a reason why all that brake fluid's on there, which we know now. It's because of this pipe at the top here. Just not sealing. And I'm guessing that's where all that brake fluid's come from. So I'll give it a damn good clean up, and then it's going to be a conversation, isn't it? It's going to be the rest of my day now, cleaning this lot up. what will be like on the back of the, this is the stub axle, if I can get that out of the box because it dropped in there from a great height. Well, there's a big gasket on there, a world of silicone. Probably going to find this paint underneath it. We can only improve this, really. Oh, that flare is disgraceful. Sorry, folks. That's fucking shocking. I'm not pissing around here. That's scary. Good Lord. Yes, when you're making brake lines up, have a rough idea about what you're doing. Double flares all the fucking time on these things. On these old Land Rovers, Range Rovers, they're double flared. Pretty much everything in the UK was double flared. I'm going to get some of these other brake lines off and see what's going on. That is scary. Because basically that there could have ruptured at any point, and then the pipe would have just come out and all the fluid would have gone. And I suspect when I undo this up here, that's exactly what I'm going to find. Because you've got no way of compressing the fixing into the housing. So, despair. Clearing all of the crap off here. Look at this little chap here. That's not been popped in there. So someone's drilled into the casing, and that's in there. Pretty sure that's not very helpful, is it? I mean, it's an old Land Rover, what are you expecting? But if someone's paid money to have these axles kind of overhauled, then I'm going to kind of suggest they haven't been. Well, not properly anyway. Anyway, I'm going to stop banging on about this poor customer's car. I'm not slagging the customer off in any way whatsoever. He's done none of this. This is as the car arrived at him and at me. I don't know what to say really. I mean, okay, same as the other one. Paint all over the surface where the hub seal goes. The spring had detached itself, as had the inner lip of the hub seal, and I think that had happened because, check out that. That really is fucking beautiful, that, isn't it? Look at that. I don't know what's going on there. It's almost like someone's been beating that with a hammer, trying to get an old bearing off, I reckon. That's scrap. That's just rubbish. And on the inside, all paint. That is just total, nothing but paint on there. Painted everything. Paint the seal. That's the seal in the middle there. Painted it. Paint. Cars. Now over here, what we've got the salvageable. So the retaining ring for the sweep seal. All of the paint had come off the bottom and off the back because of brake fluid. The swivel housing all looks in pretty good order. Again, all of the paint had come off the base of it because of the brake leak. The swivel ball itself, I think, although it's got rusting around here, I think it's serviceable. It's actually better than the other one. So I think the swivel ball is okay. The pin and 1,000 washers, purely, I've told you a million times not to exaggerate, Richard, because there's no thrust washer, I don't believe, in underneath the top pin. So I'm going to carry on clearing up. As you can see, I'm working through the pile here. That's all my nuts and bolts in there. In fact, these can go in there as well, because I'll just get all that cleaned up as one big chunk. This is all the silicone that I've taken off those bits so far. Nice, huh? Oh, yes. Oh, I love this job. This job's great fun. Yes. Look at it. Silicone and paint. Nice. Very nice. I pulled off the other two pipes. That's a double flare. That's a male flare. That's a single flare. Female flare. That's a double flare. That's a double flare. Nicely done. Only one nut holding each slave on. Pickle, pickle. So I think really what I'm going to have to do here is undo other female other female pipes like that one up there. So let's do that. Let's do exactly that. Let me raise the tripod up. Go-yoing, go-yoing. And you can watch me as I ejaculate about this. Can we balance that on top of the camera? Balance that there. Is it going to work? Yes, I believe it might. I believe it might. And then I can ejaculate. Sorry, I can talk to you about what the fuck is going on with this bloody thing. Right, now that's going to be a... So that's 7/16. That's more than that. That's probably 12 mil there. I'm going to take this hydraulic flexi off. I'm going to blow through all of these aero hoses because obviously I've not had them capped. Oh, look, more silicon. Yes. Yeah, we get it. There's silicon. Right, now. Because I'm wondering what's actually happened there is that someone has kind of torn it all apart and fucked it up on one of those threads, but then the rest are okay. 9/16. Yes, that will do. So let's turn that off there. I don't like that the ends of these ferrules are rusting. This has all got paint all over it. There's been the mother of all oil leaks over here as well, while we're just getting distracted. Let me undo this first of all, Richard. Let's do one job at a time. Oh my God. Right. Are you seeing that? Someone actually wants shooting, don't they? I think. Let me just bring you in. I'm just going to pull that nice and tight. Can you see that? That's a flare, apparently. I don't trust any of the brake lines on this thing. Now, there's not one brake line. Now, the oil leak I was telling you about was this here. That's quite a big, and I think that's engine oil. Oh, and that will be coming from the turbo. Yes, and I can see oil on the back of the turbo supports down there. So I'm wondering if the feed pipe for the turbo has come loose. Right. Not me. I didn't do it. Right, I'm going to turn you off because I'm going to have the radio back on again. All of the brake lines are now off the car. So basically we've got the line that runs down from the pressure switch to the front T-piece, to the passenger side, to the driver's side, the two passenger side pipes that come off the back plate, and then we've got the two pipes that come down from the master. I honestly don't know which is the worst of the flares on this. None of them are good. Not one single flare have I seen is any good whatsoever. This one's probably one of the shockers, but it's not the worst. That's not the worst. That's a single flare, and it's not the worst. That was pretty good. That one gets pretty close to being, I think, the worst one on the car, and that went down towards the front passenger side corner. I think I've already shown you the absolute horror when I took that apart. There's another one. That goes to the front driver's side. Single flare, nowhere near big enough. They're all loose. Every single one of these was loose. Oh, the mixture of the nut started to move and then the stud came up. Excuse me. Now, let's pop this over off. Give it a bit of dousing. I'll get the brush in a second. I'll brush that around. Now it's all soaking wet. Now what's going on with this slave? Screwdriver. Yeah, this one turns. But again, breakthrough is hydroscopic, which means that it stores water. I don't know if hydroscopic. What does hydroscopic mean, kids? it keeps water in it. So unless you're using a silicone brake fluid, and I wouldn't recommend it unless you kind of like, you know, like a really dead brake pedal feel. Then there are issues. This is why you need to change the brake fluid fairly frequently. And I'd suggest that 7 years is a bit too long. That's all. A little bit of clear up. Spin these as well, I suppose. I've done the other two. If there's any shite, nasty shite on them, it's just a degreaser. And lots of giant bog roll. So now we've got in the cards. I'll just see what the steel wool does to it. It's only really where kind of like the top edge of the piston has sat, and it's actually not rotted inside the cylinder where the seal would have sat. Might get away with that, you know. You look in here, I don't know if you can see in there. There we are, you can see just a brown stain for now around the top edge here, and that's where the top of the piston sat. And these will all get a proper clean, don't worry. I know I'm using steel wool. Steel wool drops loads of fibres, so these are all going to get a proper good clean if I'm going to reuse them. Yeah, that one might be a bit too far gone. I can see that there's quite a nasty gouge in the top of the cylinder there, so that was probably scrap. This one, I'm kind of inclined to say if two are scrap because one of them's seized, then I'm inclined to replace the lot. Yeah, that was the same. So here, I don't know if you can see, if you look on the edge up here, around there, you see some really nasty pitting on the sleeve and cylinder. That was scrap. Easy decision. A set of new wheel cylinders, please. Pressed all of the old studs out of the hub, fairly straightforward. Just mounted it in the press, pushed down on the top of the stud. They come out fairly easily. They don't come up with a big crack or a bang. Barely needs a ton of pressure to get the old ones out. Right, now we need to put the new ones in. What I'm basically doing is putting, first and foremost, look at the difference between the old studs and the new studs. Heater's on today. I can't, in fact, it's bloody freezing. Right, so here we have new stud, old stud. You can see there's a substantial difference there, not only in the overall length of the stud, but also in the size of the base there. So whereas the original studs were recessed underneath the surface, the new studs, they're not going to go that far, I'm afraid. So having pushed all the old studs out, positioning new stud in, mount on, oh my god, if I can, hello, mount on tripod, there we are, mounted on tripod, big fat washer, doing, old wheel nut, goes on back to front. Basically what I want to do is pull these up level, flat, so the splines go into the hub. And then that's about as far as that's going to go, really, without me draining the battery. It's gone most of the way in. That comes off. I don't want to go berserk on it because I'm going to end up knackering. Not going to end up reusing this wheel nut anyway, but I'll end up knackering threads. So I'm going to pull all of these through. then I shall finish them off on the press. By putting the nut on upside down, it's going to pull it up level. By putting the washer underneath, I'm not then going to be damaging the surface of the hub. I mean, I did on the other hub that I've already done, I did sort of hang on the impact wrench for quite a long time. And it was struggling to pull it in the last 4 or 5 mil. So I thought, right, I'll use the press for that. I've got a press. It was only using about 4 or 5 tons to push it back in, so you don't need a massive press. And I'll go, when I've done these, I'll take you into the container. That'll work. Right, then it's just a case of, I really want to be supporting the hub like that. So what I'm doing is putting the ring around the hub, position it behind, holding everything in place. The gauge is broken on this thing because it's reading 4 tons before I even start. Right. Standard thing where you pump it, you see the gauge go up, and then it drops down again. So it's going in at a 2.5 ton, right now up to 3 tons, 4 tons. Right, it's going nowhere else. Let's take that off. Oh, Mr. Gravity, thank you so much. Let's go and find that now. Bastard. That's a long way down there, I tell you. Right. It's gone in as far as the others did, so that's probably okay. Right, next one. Probably could do in a vice, I guess. I've got the press, I'm using the press. This thing was only about 150 quid. Came from Auto Mode, something or other. I'm not sure I want to use it to 20 tons. Four, 5 tons, 6 tons. Yeah, happy enough with that. I might want to go down just a smeg further, we'll see though. Ha 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 ha. It's just the centre of the press hadn't quite gone on to the centre of the stud. This one's going in easier. Right. It's down. Two more. Hours of fun, folks. Hours of fun. You want to see how I do this? Oh, get up to 6 tons. Still going in. No, it stopped. Right, I'm going to do the others up to 6 tons then. Yes, it has gone in further. Basically, what I'm looking at here, I don't know if you can see. You can see how that's just proud of the surface and that one isn't. So that happened when I got to about 6 tons. Right, let's go have a look. Lucy. Fucking torch. Oh. Right, so where are we? There you go. Hopefully you can see that. Can you see that? Yes you can. So now they are all pulled down. That was probably a little bit higher than the others, but I don't know really if I can get it down any further. They've all gone down as tight as they're going to go. They've all had about 10 or 11 tons on them. I think that's it. That'll do it. Master should come away, and it does. Looks like it's gone on brand spanking new, to be quite honest. All of the stuff is still in here. Push rod's still in there. Does it hold air? Yes. So all I'm doing is put my finger over the vacuum pipe, push the thing in, so I'm exercising the diaphragm. Yes it does. So I'm going to basically replace the seals of the back end here and pop it back on, and I think it'll be fine. I don't know where it's come from. It says JM99063. It's probably a blue box special, I don't know. Master similarly has got no identifying marks on it. I thought these things were supposed to have, because there's 2 different types of master. Fuck all. That's a big seal there. Go back onto master.